We discuss a lot what happens behind the podium in the White House press briefing room, with Caroline Leavitt being Caroline Leavitt and being
President
terrible.
Trump.
You know, saying that a bunch of times. President Trump. And she's bad. But we haven't discussed much the drama that can happen on the other side of the podium between the reporters. Think about some of the new folks who are being brought in and some who aren't even that new to the briefing room, who are the most conspiratorial, right-wing, funky, MAGA, Trump, cheerleady. Imagine them being next to other journalists who do actual journalism. That could get strange. And it did. And I have a really interesting story to tell you. So the two characters here are John Fredericks, who is this fun-looking guy, John Fredericks, and he is a right-wing radio host. And then April Ryan, who's a legendary journalist. And the two of them got into a spat, but really it was just John Fredericks. April Ryan is sitting right next to him or behind him or something right there, and he just starts trashing her. And so then she has to respond. Before telling you some of this story, The Spectator is the outlet that broke it. Listen to how they introduce this story. That's it. Yes, it's war. Forget Israel and Iran's back and forth. Ignore the tanks on Constitutional Avenue. The real conflict of the week was the heated briefing room scrap between two titans of radio, John Fredericks and April Ryan. Hey, Spectator, chill. Forget about Israel and Iran. Taylor Swift has a new drum. Ugh. But anyways, it all kicked off on Wednesday afternoon ahead of the press briefing when Trump-supporting call-in host Frederick sidled in and started airing his grievances about how the briefings used to work under the previous Trump administration. He was moaning about how he never got to ask questions due to the focus-pulling antics of Jim Acosta and April Ryan, who sources tell Cockburn he referred to as the woman from urban radio. Frederick said this while directly next to Ryan, okay? So again, it's Fredericks sitting next to Ryan, and he goes, the lady from urban radio, and is annoyed that she, in the first term, not even now, but in the first term, would take questions away from his journalistic power and glory. And he's just a right-wing whack. So he was 2 inches away from me, April said. We weren't feet apart. He was right there, right behind me. Now, this builds to a really funny climax where she thinks of the best comeback. Ryan took issue with Frederick's carping and called him out. He was railing on reporters in there, and the room is made up of reporters. A lot of these people are reporters. And I'm sitting there, and I'm just listening to him rail, and then he jumps on me. Not literally. I'm like, that would be crazy. That's the story. He just jumps. No, it's a verbal fight, not a physical fight. But there is a physical element to it that I'll get to. I'm like, I'm not the one. I'm saying to myself, I'm not the one. And I told him, mind your business and leave me out. Just leave me alone. Fair. Fredericks responded by mocking Ryan for her face mask. So she had a face mask on and said, nice mask. They have this obsession that if you ever wear a mask, you know that a mask can be helpful. This isn't just a COVID thing. Like if you're sick and you could, or you don't know if you're sick, but you want to be cautious. It's a good way to make sure you don't get your particles, your spit or spatter all over other people. A lot of other countries just do that when you get sick. It's just a nice thing. But Americans, I love America, but sometimes, man, we have weird parts of our culture. What, you want me to put a mask on like a queer? So I don't get my particles. I'll get my particles wherever I damn choose. So Frederick said to Ryan, he said, nice mask, as this escalated. And she replied with the best, April Ryan. This is so good. She thinks of on the spot, yeah, for your foul breath. So good. I was standing in between both of them. Somebody else recounted this and said, I can confirm his breath was ripe. This is backfiring on Fredericks. I don't know why you want to start something, Ryan told Fredericks. I'm here minding my own business over here. I don't give a damn about your political persuasion. Leave me out of your mouth. Your stinky, disgusting, garbage mouth. She didn't say those parts. I said that. But she did say, leave me out of your mouth. And then Frederick said, I see you're as pleasant as ever. Really? That's your comeback? She just destroyed you. And then Ryan replied, and baby, it works for me because it ain't working for you. You're complaining because my questions are better than yours, so shut it down. I'm a good journalist, a great journalist. So good. I'm loving this. I wish I could have had video of this. Frederick said, in response to April, he said, that mask just says it all. So then Ryan pulled down her face mask and repeated, I'm a great journalist. Can you hear it? Frederick said, yes, I can. Ryan said, everybody around me felt bad about it because I'm minding my business. He doesn't know me. If I would have stood there and not said anything, he thought he could bully me. But one thing you're not going to do is bully me, okay? He blamed me and Jim Acosta for not getting a question during the first Trump administration. Was it my fault that you didn't get a question yesterday? No, you're blaming little old me for you not getting the question. But what happened yesterday? I didn't block you from getting a question. I go in there and I do what I got to do. I come in there to do my job. I've been there a long time. I know some people. I don't know some people. I try to stay in my lane. I don't cause problems. I don't want to cause any problems. Just minding my business to do my work. And along the way, work happens. Even if I don't get called on, I still do my stories. I still break stories. Just, you can feel the contrast in rationality. Like April Ryan comes from real journalists, right? Who care about doing journalism and value and see this profoundness to what they're doing. And then you have Fredericks, John Fredericks. Let's get him back on the screen. You have John Fredericks, who is just sort of a cheerleader for a side, who is seeing this a little bit more as a sport, as a game. See, what are you doing with a mask on, right? And don't do that, Jaden. Jaden was about to prep something very mean. And so John Fredericks, I'm sorry, that's such a teaser. I'm not going to show you what he was doing. Please do click the subscribe button, by the way, as we continue through this. If you feel bad that I have to deal with Jaden's, no, Jaden's amazing. So he's kind of bringing in this level of hostility and anger, and she's thinking, I don't care about your political persuasion. We're all here to do our work. Let's do our work. Let's respect each other. Ryan has been covering the White House since the late 90s and was the National Association of Black Journalists Journalist of the Year in 2017. But she didn't see the incident as a clash between old and new media. She's saying, I don't have a problem with new media. A lot of new media has bigger audiences than we do, so I respect that. But it's more about respect. Ryan's not the only journalist to take issue with Fredericks. He always pushes into the groups of reporters who've waited for over an hour and then takes good spots and won't leave, and then flatters and compliments the female ones aggressively. John Fredericks trying to make something happen with the female reporters while he's barging into those situations. Take a step back, John. Your breath is stinky. Now, about this whole stinky breath thing that she brought up, I really don't believe in like sending people to Guantanamo Bay without due process. And we've had just some of the worst moments in history abusing things like that. Or that El Salvador in prison, there's huge human rights abuses going on and people being sent without due process. But I would send people with bad breath there. I would personally, what's like a torture thing? Like, you know, you see in the TV shows, they get a little thing and they rip out people's fingernails. I would do that myself to the people with bad breath. Who? Do you can smell it. There are times and people get all up in your face and speak to you. Unless, okay, someone's going to go, Luke, I have like a medical thing that, okay, not you. Stop. I'm not being serious. But God, you're just trying to have a conversation. All of a sudden, a dead rat goes up your nose. Can we not? And the weird thing is that sometimes it feels like, you know when people get way too close to you? Oh, yeah, it's so good to be with you today. Oh, and you're kind of backing away, but then they keep getting closer. Oh, is that right? Oh, how's your mom? Okay. Why is it always those people who, not always, but sometimes who have the worst breath, who are willing to get so close to you. Just smell it. There's all sorts of mints and gums, and so life sentence for those folks. But in other news, the MAGA rapper Forgiato Blow, with like a sort of cute angel filter on, which is kind of funny. He has like one of those filters that takes away all your blemishes and gives you sparkly eyes. I can't play this, I think, because it has copyrighted music, but he did this video kind of looking at the camera, cutesy, his eyes glistening because of the beauty filter, with a MAGA hat on. And the text on screen is, "Thank you, Gavin Newsom, for allowing the world to see the chaos that criminal illegal aliens brought to California. The support for mass deportations just grew tenfold." Now, the interesting thing is he's wrong. Even Trump stopped supporting most of Trump's deportation plan because it's been going so terribly and ripping up our communities and economically damaging, and etc. And maybe we should prioritize the people we actually wouldn't want in the country, not just random people to juice up the numbers. Even Trump's coming to that conclusion. So Forgiato Blow, if you can imagine, is not having the... Which shocks me that he's not having the most thoughtful political analysis. I usually go to Forgiato Blow for such takes, but he missed on this one. He missed on this one with his beauty filter. And in response, Gavin Newsom said, "Nice sparkling ceiling. You pay extra for that?" So not even addressing his critique. And remember, what Gavin Newsom keeps pointing out is California has real problems, of course. Oh my gosh, absolutely. But a lot of these folks will say, see, this is what happens when you let Democrats lead. There is crime. It is terrible. People kill each other. But then the people saying that are either defending or themselves leading states. Like we saw this with Sarah Huckabee Sanders, like Arkansas, that have astronomically higher homicide rates, some of the highest in the countries. But that is where I'll leave this one. Share your thoughts in the comments. Every time we warn about Trump's authoritarian threats, the right calls it media hysteria, Trump derangement syndrome, and that can honestly get kind of bizarrely confusing. And then you remember, no, he talks openly about ignoring the Constitution, staying in power past his term, violates court orders, goes after his enemies, attacks media outlets just for speaking out against them. The terrifying part is, though, when you're not actively questioning where your news comes from, that kind of dishonest rhetoric can start to feel normal. The partisan spin, the legal gaslighting, and how some outlets just straight up ignore major stories that they should be talking about. And that's why I'm bringing to you one of my rare sponsors. Y'all know I barely do sponsorships, but this is one I really believe in, Ground News. Ground News is the only app and website that actually lets you instantly compare how a story is being reported across the political spectrum. If you want to know how many outlets are covering a story, that's what Ground News is. Coverage details shows you. Curious who's spinning it and how, the bias distribution bar breaks it down across the political spectrum. If you're wondering what facts are missing, look at their headline comparisons. And genuinely, the contrast is shocking. It's bizarre to see across the political spectrum how different the exact same event is being covered. And then I love the feature, the blind spot feed. It shows you the stories that one side of the spectrum is ignoring completely. And just one scroll, you'll see how many neutral outlets are actually leaning in one direction or the other. Democracy can't function without a well-informed public, and Ground News helps you break out of that algorithmic echo chamber. Now let's take a specific example. This headline: Qatar signs $200 billion deal to buy jets from Boeing during Trump visit. You can look at the coverage details. Total news sources 277. You can see how many left-leaning, how many right-leaning, how many center. It is identifying the bias distribution as 49% center. And then you can click around and see left-wing outlets. What are they talking about in relation to this, etc. And again, Ground News gives so much valuable information, which is why I've been personally using the Vantage plan. And it's become a smarter, faster way to fact check headlines and keep perspective. If you're watching this show, I hope that you want that deeper context. And this is the tool that truly helps you get it. And because I want all of you to have access to that, I got the viewers an exclusive 40% off the Vantage plan. It's just $5 a month for full access. Just go to groundnews.com/Beasley or scan the QR code on screen. If you care about where this country's heading, be a part of the mission to make reliable information easier to access, which is exactly what Ground News does. Don't just consume headlines, understand them. Check out Ground News today.